to see, know, and hear.
When you return that money, you hear the message.
Whatever is not yours, even if you kill yourself, it will not come. That's my opinion.
So do share the facts on Hard Fact.
Hard Fact.
Hard Fact. 3 to 6 p.m. Live on 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Fact.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
We don't want to keep you waiting for too long, but we needed to sort some technical stuff quickly before we come on air. Thank you very much, Abuja, for staying tuned into your passionate radio. 95.1 Nigeria Info. How are you doing? Halfway into the month, the 15th of September 2025. And I don't know about you, but the month sure is moving by pretty fast. But that's what to be expected of Ember Month. There's just something about Ember Month. You get into it.
I think it's the entire year.
Pretty fast, yeah?
Pretty fast, I must confess. Which day we do Happy New Year?
I know.
And then we are already September.
Honest to God. I mean, I remember that season of I Beg to Differ debate regional, and then I blinked, then we were at the national. And then look at it now, September. And you know, Ember Month is like a slippery slope. It just goes by pretty fast.
Yeah.
Before you know, it's Christmas. I saw one ridiculous individual already brought out his Christmas tree, and you know, Mariah Carey like, it says it's Christmas already. Anything that have back in it officially setting the stage for Christmas.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the 13th month is sure for the person, because many people do have panic attack when they're close to December, because, you know, it comes with a lot of spending. And for the economic situation of the country right now, where people are not smiling. You know, I noticed something today on my way to work, Kim. I noticed that at the slightest traffic build-up in Abuja, many cars break down.
Are you saying we're driving beat-up vehicles in this city?
Maybe, just maybe. I was shocked. You know, I took count from for just a stretch of about, say, 5 kilometers, and over 20 vehicles were packed.
Oh no, that's rough, man.
Yeah.
I know that when you have a build-up, I stay around the Gwarimpa axis. So when you're going through the Gwarimpa Life Camp, and any day there's a hold-up, rest assured that cars will stop and compound the situation. I also wonder about it. Is it like overheating, or what causes a car to just...
People don't have money to fix their car.
Man, I dropped my car at the mechanic for maintenance and servicing, you know.
But you tell you, Abby?
I never get bill, but usually I'm always very afraid when I even take it there, because for some reason you just say, just do the basic servicing. And then why do you always find something extra? Keep it simple, guys. If I say change oil, leave it at oil. Don't go investigating and running diagnostics and finding stuff that I don't want found.
Those people, the people you are talking about, I say they should keep it simple.
No, they will never keep it simple.
Because December...
They will print out all your problems.
December is coming.
I see.
They also need to buy rice and buy groundnut oil.
Boy, I mean, if you're talking about the servicing of car, even getting a car, I mean, have you realized that the average Nigerian is a struggle for someone to even get a fairly used car? We're not talking about brand new. I mean, I can't remember the last time. Perhaps I don't have that circle yet of people who buy tear leather. It's still a prayer point. God, take me there. My circle are still doing Tokomo. They're still bringing it into the country.
And I tell you, if you are,
and then you get to hear, do you know, you should know
Of
what
course
cars
I
are
do.
going for. I was talking the other day randomly as to, the kind of car I wanted. And then they kept telling me, no. You know, before they even told me the price, they discouraged me.
Oh, God.
Because I mean, seriously, and look at all the years
No,
one
no,
has been working
I
and
believe
telling
in
me.
you, Kim. I believe in you. You can do it. If you can see it, if you can dream it, you can
Like
achieve
people
it.
will get too head. Isn't
No,
all
they
this
don't get
Nigeria
too
all
head.
of us are in together?
Yeah.
Every day you see people buying flashy new cars and all like no money. Where are these people getting it from?
But if I catch one of them, I just might tie the person down. I didn't say kidnap.
Explain your source of wealth.
I didn't say kidnap, but I'll tie the person
That
down.
is tantamount to it. If
You
you're
will
holding
not-
someone,
You will not move an inch until you bless me. Bless me with the information. Well, I mean, the Ember months, I think we ought to be very careful too. Desperate. You know, I saw the video about certain people. They said the burns was jungle justice at Wuse area.
one chance.
One chance, yeah.
People are getting really angry right now and are just thinking straight. So they catch you, Pam. I mean, it's reminiscent of what used to happen in Lagos back in the day. Lagos used to be the center of jungle justice. They just hear Ole, and somebody holds you. That is the end. Barbecue.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I
to
think
think
it's-
that Abuja has come to the point, I agree with people who are vexed in their spirit that the menace of one chance has gone completely out of control.
It has.
I've had people in my church who said, we finished church and we're heading home, and then this happened. I mean, one of my church member who in the unit came with bruises and all of that,
Yeah.
how they flung her out of the car and took everything off
Yeah,
of her. It's
yeah.
insane.
It is.
But I don't know how to feel about people wanting to take the law into their hands. And, some, like, if you get the police now, next thing they'll pay police, or like, I don't want to believe they pay the police. I want to believe that it's also the constraint of the law. You can't hold someone for a definite period of time until this is done. And perhaps we're too slow in executing certain things or charging. It's just confusing. Perhaps this is where the security agencies need to educate also to saying, this is the procedure. If you bring them to us, these are the kind of cases that will be forced to release them after 48 hours.
Kim, there.
These are the kind of cases that will charge to court immediately so that people would know what to expect. Because at the end of the day, the average person just believes if you give police now, they will bribe police and leave. And it's not always the case. I'm not saying that people don't bribe the police. I don't know any of those kind of people. But I don't know if you know them.
This conversation, Kim, you're squeezing yourself into a tight corner.
It's not a tight corner.
Because I promise you,
There are plenty corners in Nigeria.
this one is very tight. Because I promise you, when you see someone who was exposed as a thief in the community, and 6 months down the line, 4 months down the line, you see the person in the same community again, you're forced to think, okay, what is the situation? We did not conclude the investigation. We couldn't charge the person to court, whatnot. It still doesn't make any sense. So maybe, yes, the PSC, the Nigeria Police Force Service Commission, they need to come out and explain to us how these things happen. But it doesn't change the fact. You said, yes, that, corruption happened. The corruption in the police force, I'm sorry to say, there are good men in the police force. I have close ties by marriage to the police force, but I must say it. The corruption there is dumbfounding.
All right, what's dumbfounding for me is the fact that a lot of traffic lights are not working in the federal capital. And all of a sudden, I can't find police officers anywhere. Where are the traffic police? You guys only come out when the lights are working. We don't need you when the light is working.
It depends on the area you're plowing.
What area did you
Yeah,
come from?
if you
saw them
go
and
to
not working.
Maitama, some parts of central area, you see traffic police there.
Well, a good number of the lights around the central area are broken at the moment. I know that for sure. The Gariki 2 area axis down here, a good number of them, save for the one in Bolingo, they're all not working.
It's old money
And
that's
then-
in Gariki.
And I'm saying, why isn't it working? It's a federal capital, and then people are just driving as if they don't have internal compass and coordination. And then you all of a sudden wouldn't see them where you usually see them strategically positioned when
Yeah.
it's working. And then all of a sudden, when they fix it after many weeks,
Yeah.
all of a sudden the traffic police appear. Like, I absolutely do not need you if the traffic light is working. We already have bad behaved Nigerians who would beat traffic, yes, but they're built-in traffic and compounding situation without the light working at the moment. I'm thinking, what's the rationale?
Well,
Traffic police just come and show, okay, the light is not working, respect it. But if it's not working for months, we don't care whether you
It
kill
is.
yourself on the road.
well, I know that they are there in some places where you have big men that can throw a couple of brand new notes out of the window while they drive by.
That's very disrespectful to throw money at people out of the window.
Well, that's what they do because they wouldn't stop to give it to them.
Oh.
And then Jabi bus stop. Yeah, they are stationed there because if you beat the light, they'll hold you. They stand in front of your car. Even if the light
That's
is
it.
not working.
If the light is not working,
Even if it's not working.
what are they going to hold you? What are the charges?
They'll use their hand now.
No,
People
that-
beat hands too. If people
All right, guys, let's get back to this. Welcome to Hard Facts. It's Monday, and I hope you started off the week on a good note. Beating hands, yeah, that's an interesting one, but it sure does happen because I've seen it around that Banex axis where, did you not see my hand? Your hand was not raised up enough, officer. But respect men in uniform when they do about it. It's not easy to do that job,
No, it
standing out in
isn't.
the sun and in the rain. Please be respectful, all right? Welcome, Abuja, to Hard Facts. My name is Kimberly. Wachuku. Just call me Kim, the Oracle, the digital Oracle, that is. OTF, the fellow, Ochanyawa, Madam Speaker, Okorora one, and I'll say yes to them all. Hi, Gabriel.
Hi, Kim. Good afternoon. You're listening to the Voice of Radio's finest, Kim Respector.
All right, Asiru Abbas is live on YouTube with us. We're on YouTube and Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja on YouTube and Facebook. And don't forget, you can send us messages on X at Nigeria Info ABJ. Asiru Abbas says, congratulations to Toby Amosu for winning silver medal at the ongoing World Athletic Championship in Tokyo. She did her best for Nigeria. And I think she's going on to the next round altogether. The salary of traffic police is abysmally poor. You don't want to imagine what they are earning. All right? I can imagine. I can only do that at this point in time. Teachers will tell you the same. Health workers, why do you think they are striking? They will tell you the same. So everyone just feels like we can be paid more at the end of the day. All right, people, let's get right into the stories of the day. Let's start off with the resident doctors. I mean, health is a primary concern for us today. Resident doctors in Abuja have launched an indefinite strike over unpaid salaries, stalled promotion, worsening hospital conditions in the federal capital. The strike, which began today, the 15th of September 2025, was declared by Dr. George Ibong, the president of the Association of Resident Doctors, FCT administration, during a press briefing in Abuja today. It followed 7-day ultimatum issued on the 28th of August and subsequent warning strike on the 8th of September, both of which failed to prompt government action on the doctors' demands. And he explained that the decision for indefinite action was reached after Doctors' Congress reviewed the state of negotiations and found none of their key grievances had been addressed. And saying that they've commenced an indefinite strike over the failure of the FCT minister to address long-standing issues affecting doctors in the FCT. And it was quoted as saying that after reassessing the demand presented to the management of the FCT hospitals, the Congress noted their deep disappointment over the fact that none of their demands have been met. And so here we are at this point in time. Neglect of healthcare system in the federal capital. Both financial and non-financial reasons are why they are on this indefinite strike at the moment, and they are calling on the FCT. They gave the warning strike. Apparently nothing happened, and now they're on indefinite strike. Perhaps it will get the attention of the FCT minister. They're also calling for urgent renovation of FCTA hospitals, recruitment of new doctors before the end of 2025, payment of 13 months hazard allowances, and clearance of outstanding payment owed to external residents. So it's an indefinite one at this point in time, and we're looking at resident doctors, people, consultants, the wait. It shows it definitely going to impact on service within the hospitals, public hospitals most especially.
Definitely. And we've been here several times. We've been at this juncture several times. We've said all that needs to be said, even though it appears that we cannot stop speaking until we ring home the bell to those who are in power, especially or specifically speaking, the Minister of the FCT, that Mr. Minister, sir, you cannot fix roads, even though that is great. We are appreciative. It has opened up the Abuja community. It has opened up many areas in Abuja, and that's great. But we always talk about Human Development Index, and one of the key important factors in HDI is health of the people who you are building the roads for. So on one hand, while you're doing the roads, on the other hand, you've got to look at education. You've got to prioritize the health sector. I think it is rather damning on the office of the FCT minister that resident doctors in Abuja gave a warning strike. That we are warning you, Oga Minister.
Perhaps we're giving you heads up. Attend to all of these things, or else we're going to down tools indefinitely.
You know, these guys, the resident doctors began theirs before at the national
More
level.
conversation
They began theirs. Okay, commercial.
to this.
This is Nigeria.
All right, the big three. We're looking at some of the big stories driving conversation in the country. And in the federal capital, residents are concerned about the indefinite strike embarked upon by the resident doctors. And they have stated that overpaid, unpaid salaries, poor working conditions are one of the numerous reasons why they're embarking on the strike, calling on the Federal Capital Development Authority to swing into action. They gave a number of days warning strike. Sadly, nothing was done about it until they've gone on their indefinite strike. And most definitely, the management and the authorities will be forced to have a sit down with them. Now, one is not sure how long this is going to go for, because we know strength of negotiation can go back and forth and what demand will be met before they can decide to call it off. But it's not a good one that we allow the strike to get to an indefinite point before a proper high-level intervention will be called at this point in time. And like you pointed out, Gabriel, we do not seem to prioritize human capital issues in this country. When it comes to education, we saw how primary school teachers were at home for donkey months, and then we're seeing healthcare workers, resident doctors making the same move to saying, we've given you some time window for negotiations and you refused. Well, this is what happens at this point in time.
Yeah.
It doesn't show seriousness. And even beyond the federal capital, we see it on the national level, where recall when we're talking about the Tinubu administration was giving us a breakdown. They gave costed breakdown of roads and bridges and all of that. And then, one tiny little box beneath it, you now see doing this for
Primary
health
care,
primary health care, 1,000 primary
built
school.
across the country. No breakdown.
No specific, no breakdown. It just feels like, these are the big
By
issues.
the way, like an addendum.
Yeah, just to know we're doing this. And then you can't even verify. A health reporter cannot even tell for sure, okay, if we're doing a holistic reportage of the state of our primary health care centers or even the secondary one. You don't even know where to start from because the government just lumped it. But you're able to give us specific breakdown, costed the amount of each kilometer road that you're doing, even though you bungled it by mixing up some of the regions and the figures. But you're not detailed about that. It just gives the impression as if, like you said, on a second thought, less odds that we're doing things. We need to go past that. The number of people in this country is growing, and the earlier we invested in the people, their health, their education, the better for us, because the fancy bridges will be destroyed if people do not have that sound mind and body, the agency to even appreciate and use.
I sometimes wonder why, what it would take for us to have a vibrant health sector. Now, not to say that different administrations haven't done anything at all. I mean, look at the health insurance scheme, which is depending on the state. Some states have it strong, where there are quite some dividends But then, when people call and say that we mandate public office holders in the country not to patronize foreign hospitals, talking about medical tourism, at the beginning, I just think of it as something like, people are overreaching. But at this point in time, you're forced to think perhaps that could just be a solution, because why can't we prioritize? It doesn't make any sense.
Indeed.
It doesn't make any sense. Why don't we prioritize? Now, we're talking about resident doctors. We're talking about the people you would meet on call in the hospital 24/7, not consultants. Now, maybe some resident doctors are consultants.
Oh, they're on their way there.
But we're talking about the resident doctors. Now, that's a vital component of the health sector. We talk about the nurses and the midwives too. But resident doctors are on strike. So maybe because we have quite a number of federal medical centers in the country, in the FCT, those ones are not included in the strike. Talk about National Hospital, maybe FMC.
See, even if you have 2, 4, 6 of them joining a strike, it's bad enough, because we know we do not have. If you're looking at the doctor-patient ratio in the country, it's overwhelming for a lot of doctors.
It is.
Then we talk about a doctor who slumped because he worked extended hours in Rivers State. So it's not a point where we can say, okay, we have a handful here and there. If this group are going on strike, it is definitely going to affect.
It is. I remember I had some scalp concerns. I went to a general hospital, and the diagnosis the man gave me, God knows, I promised myself I'll never try this in my life again, because he had over 40 people to attend to. I don't know how many he was allotted to attend to as a consultant, but he had over 40 right in front of me. And then I was to fill a particular attendance form, because I was given the date. I was number 40-something on that list. And I counted another 40 plus waiting. So the man, before the end of the day, 4 p.m., he would have attended to over 100 people. If I'm a consultant,
Well, in this country, with all this whole on appointment basis in the Western world, I mean, looking at siblings and relatives I know who stay in certain countries like the US and Canada and a few other places, where before you even get to see that level, sometimes you can get a 3 months wait time.
Yeah.
Because they need to pace themselves and deal with only very high level emergency cases. If yours isn't your scalp, you can wait 3 months now until you enter the calendar.
I didn't feel so, but
exactly. But that's what the doctor will tell you. By the time you wait till 14th of November before they attend to your scalp, you understand what is going on here. Let's move on. We'll get your take on the resident doctors and what you feel about it. But let's head to Niger State, where the Niger State Governor, Umar Bago, has said that preachers in the state must first submit their sermons for approval before relaying to their congregation. Governor Bago made a statement on Sunday while responding to questions in an interview on TV. He also gave some clarification on some aspect of the law seeking to regulate preaching in the state, that I didn't ban evangelism. For everyone going to sermon on Friday, you should bring his scriptures for review, and it's normal. Even in Saudi Arabia, this is done. We cannot say because you've given the opportunity to be a cleric, you go out and preach the gospel that is anti-people, anti-government, and you think, okay, why did this man quickly add anti-government to it, anti-people? All right. And you think it's normal. When asked if it was out of fear of indoctrination, the governor said it was in that direction. All right. We want to be able to see what they're preaching, hear what they're saying. We're working together with security agencies, the Department of State Services, the police, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the military. The development, which first became public earlier in the month, has generated tons of controversy. The Director General of the Niger State Religious Affairs, Umar Farouk, had said anyone interested in preaching in Niger must obtain a license, emphasizing that preachers had 2 months to obtain their license. And it's true, the state government has banned preaching. Any preacher who wants to preach must secure a license between now and the next one. I think the language of their communication is also very problematic, because when it first came out, the impression is like, oh, there's a ban on kind of like preaching. Then they try to correct it by saying, we want everyone properly registered, captured by the state. And then micromanaging also what is being preached. I know it comes off as if the cleric is focusing more on the Islamic one, but this applies to all religious body.
Yeah.
Apparently, at the end of the day, to saying whatever you're sharing in the mosque or in the church, We want to know your sermon. We want to know your message. But there's so much to appreciate and worry about in this particular one.
Yeah.
On one hand, you want to appreciate the fact that perhaps the government is being proactive to just check excesses in terms of what kind of message is being preached. We know a lot of people have been indoctrinated, so some kind of warped ideological belief from what is being preached by certain clerics.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there's a tendency also for an infringement and abuse to a point where you say, all right, I can't use my platform to preach the gospel and call out the government, which you get to see a lot of clerics do. Doesn't matter what faith you're talking about, to share their displeasure with how the government is running the affairs of the state. Now you're saying any gospel that is anti-people and anti-government, it sounds very restrictive to say it needs to be strictly religious. No political conversation going on there. Outside the faith, which is not one that will indoctrinate, that is all. And I'm thinking, first off, I want to believe that the agency or body that will be in charge of reviewing the message is grounded enough in messages, enough to know what is acceptable.
Exactly my thoughts.
What isn't acceptable, and so that we know where the thin line of witch hunting starts. Because sometimes you could actually not like a particular preacher or cleric, and for some reason not give them approval to preach.
Yeah.
So that is also working on setting rights of.
I'm going to say it exactly how I feel it came. I do not like, and I'll blame the media assistant to the governor, because many times, let's not forget that even though they are politicians, they are not. Many of them are not exactly conversant or learned in image making, perception building, branding. So I'll blame it on the brand and media advisors to the governor. The body language, I do not like it. I'm going to be very honest. I don't like the body language of the executive governor of Niger State. It's becoming one too many. He's the same governor that was involved in the radio station, even though it was later clarified and all of it. You cannot tell.
I was the same one who, if you wear dreadlock,
exactly,
cut your hair,
I was trying to remember.
As much as he's also the same one who reviewed pay upwards and said he was going to pay core members more. So there's always a side, but I don't know. The scale is not in his favor because he feels to be doing more than
I don't know. You cannot, if you're going to be good, be good. If you're going to be bad, let's stay somewhere. Let's know who you are. If you are asking that you want to see the content of messages, I beg to say, I'm very sure that many religious leaders were influential in his coming up as governor of the state. I'm very sure, because you cannot take religion from the people in a country like Nigeria. You cannot take religion from people. Now, Kim, there are certain religious bodies. I know for the Christian faith, for example, you have the PFN, you have the CAN, you have certain religious institutions that are entrenched into this country before even he was born. You have EQUA, you have Cocking. You see, these churches, they're not just churches, they're institutions whereby they have been there for donkey years, rooted in communities. So you cannot just come as governor. And you see, sometimes when they lace these things with nice words, they are quite anti-people. That's the honest truth. When you say that you are telling people or preachers, submit your sermon. So a preacher that is calling out the government, are you trying to stir up anti-democratic practices in the state? Is that what you're trying to do? I think the government should come out clean. Tell us exactly what it is. I don't like confrontation. I don't like critics.
But you
that's
know
fine.
You could have
not
people
going through the back corner.
This. I quite agree with your point of view, 100, as to where this could lead to if it's not checked.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side also, there's been concern over a certain level of indoctrination and people using their platform to sell certain kind of ideology to young, highly impressionable minds.
True.
Will this address that problem?
I don't think it will.
Because somebody can send you their show prep of what they're going to preach.
And do something else.
And then I've seen a lot of show preps that do not even go without, like, see what you say we are discussing 10 o'clock, see what you're discussing at this point in time. We'll send you our prep.
I'm sure I'm not on that list.
And then do something different. The thing is, the fear of indoctrination, which is what the governor is leveraging on, is this the way to addressing it? Or is it clamp down on that religious space to saying, we would now control what you preach on your pulpit or in your mosque or wherever at this point in time? I think it calls for further clarification altogether.
If he's really interested in checking indoctrination and ensuring that the religious platforms are not used for that purpose, call registered, identified bodies and have a conversation with them. I've mentioned to the ones I know. I'm sure for the Muslim faith too, they have theirs also. Even for the traditionalists, their bodies. Call them and say, have conversation with them. This are my plans. How can we work together? And then the news would be, I called religious bodies together and we are looking at solving this problem. Not to telling preachers to come and submit their sermon. So if a preacher puts something about the government now, you tell the preacher to change it or what?
You think any preacher will put anything like that? It will say, we're preaching love this week. I hope you have enough agents to sit through all the preachings at every single time.
I bet.
It's something they can't regulate properly.
So enforcement, is that what we use police officers for?
Well, let's leave the rest to the callers and
All
give
right.
us your 2 cents on the stories we're looking at. Murtala Gagi, a member of the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, of the Central Bank of Nigeria, says Nigeria's debt profile is still rising despite the removal of petrol subsidy and the liberalization of the foreign exchange markets. It is contained in a communique covering MPC's meeting held from the 21st of July to the 22nd that was released on Monday by the CBN. As Sagagi said, limited economic diversification, over-reliance on debt by the government has worsened the vulnerability of the economy to shock and fluctuation in global commodity prices. And he did give a breakdown of that. In the first quarter of 2025, the country had witnessed an increase in total public debt from 144.67 trillion naira as of December 31st, 2024 to 149.39 trillion as of March 31st, 2025. The country's debt profile is deteriorating and thus shrinking the fiscal space due to the huge debt service cost. Chagagi said the inflation moderation attained and the doggedness of the Apex Bank to ensure foreign exchange unification and disciplined liquidity management should be further harnessed to speed up growth and improved welfare. And added that to avoid reversal of the gains so far achieved, ensuring fiscal discipline, deliberate effort to stimulate local productivity and employment are non-negotiable at this point in time. I think it's just saying it as it is that a lot of people believe. On one hand, yes, you get the president say all the measures have put in place, removal of subsidy, unification of Naira. It's showing, it's evident that things are looking up, they're looking good. But, from the MPC's perspective and the report put out by the CBN is saying, how are we still going neck deep in debt in spite of all of this? So we're not seeing the balance that is required just yet. It's not helping us correct the excessive borrowing. And I think a lot of Nigerians have been shouting themselves to a point of losing their voices to saying we need to slow down on the borrowing as much as we would want to. But then the fear is, particularly with a government that is limited in the terms of the kind of new idea they can inject in. If you're not borrowing, you're taxing. The middle point, which is the most healthier one, is to diversify your economy. We haven't seen, that kind of vibrant diversification. Perhaps, before this administration leaves, they might be able to show where some of the investors and some of the numerous trips, how it's going to help open up other sectors. But we're not seeing it as much as would be appreciated just yet. So it's either we're borrowing or we're taxing people. And the third part, which is the critical element of it, of growing the economy, we're not doing so much of it at this point in time. So that's what I'm saying, and it's left for the government to come out and dispute this one.
If a member of the Monetary Policy Committee is saying this, I think we all should be concerned. Now, 2 things. Nigerians, brace up for more tax.
No, don't say it that way. You don't want people going about their afternoon worried.
But it's the
New
truth.
tax is coming. That's why the government was quick to say, you see that fuel tax that we're talking about, don't talk about it again. But you never
Okay.
can tell. It's just something new might come up.
Okay.
No, you know what? To prevent that from happening,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
I've
saying.
heard.
There are other areas to explore. You haven't done that yet. Put
There-
on your thinking cap.
I don't think they will. I do not think they will, except something we wake up tomorrow morning and something divine happens in this country. Going by the trajectory so far. Now, I must say also that to a large extent, since the beginning part of the second quarter of this year, there's been some form of stability for a number of reasons. Dangote Refinery, we're now exporting some produce of crude oil, to some neighboring countries. In fact, they're even accusing Dangote now of selling to Togo cheaper than they are selling to Nigerian marketers. Excuse me. So we are seeing some. There's now a not so much demand on the FX like we used to see before, and all of it. So there's some stability in that regard. However, the issue that has brought us here till now is corruption. And it might sound cliche, but it's just the honest truth. In the first place, subsidy that we said we want to remove. I remember the IMF in 2022 was advising Nigerian, that's under Buhari's government, to remove subsidy, and then to devalue the naira. I remember that time. The issue then wasn't subsidy, but because IMF looked at Nigeria, you guys keep coming back to borrow, but you're borrowing to pay subsidy.
Why are you screaming at this point?
I'm-
Why is your voice
I am
suddenly gone up
pained, Kim.
an octave?
I am pained.
Even Mariah Carey used to. It's like, all right, I feel the emotion in your voice, the way it went up. though.
IMF told Nigeria, you cannot be borrowing and you are using to pay subsidy. Okay, you know what? If we remove the subsidy, and that's what left the subsidy removal by President Bola Tinubu. But the points there, the ultra expensive.
All right, let's leave it at that and hear feedback. All right, we've been yapping for a bit by ourselves. Let's hear you. 0700 951 0000. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Kimberly and Gabriel. Abubakar calling from Gogolada.
Go ahead, sir.
This planned regulation by governor of Niger State that clerics should submit their sermon before for clarity or whatever before they pass and deliver the sermon. It's a practice in some in some faith countries like Saudi Arabia and Iran. But in Nigeria, it sound odd to our own children because we enjoy free speech, free media. So I don't think it will be acceptable to the majority of people. But at the same time, the clerics should watch, because I, as a Muslim, it is not all the clerics that I listen to their sermons, because some they are inciting. That is my take.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Hello.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
my name is God.
Go ahead, sir.
Now, let us imagine this. In every street in Niger State, you will find not less than at least 2 churches and at least 2 mosques. So, check the number of churches and mosques that will submit their topic or whatever to the governor. Will he be able to access all of them? It will be not less than 2,000. Or will he have the time to sit down to start checking each one, this street, in this local government, this street, in this other local government, for all of them? I think, like you people suggested, if they can hand it over to a body that will be responsible in checking the preachings, they themselves will know the churches and the mosques that are not aligning properly. And then they can send the intelligence to the government.
All
then
right.
the government will have a closer watch on that church or mosque.
All right.
But if it is for them to submit to the governor, I'm sure he will not have time to read all that.
Oh, most definitely not the governor. Governor is busy with a lot of things. There definitely will be a body set up for that. Let's look at some of your messages.
All right. Good afternoon, Kim. Marcy from CBD. Please help us ask the government what has the civil servants in Nigeria done wrong? We're suffering and we are all collecting one form of loan and the other. We're suffering, it says. Okay, this is for Israel. Not sure we mentioned the Israel anywhere. All right.
All right, Babawo in Kano says he's watching us from Kano on Facebook. Good to know, Babawo. Thank you very much. And Ojonugwa, I see you, says, until the government officials are mandated to use our hospitals in the country, I tell you, they will not take our health sector serious. Imagine common headache. They fly to foreign countries. Ojonugwa is watching from Delta State. Wow, good to know. From Kano to Delta. Also, Francis Naman is watching us from Enugu State. Good to know. Thank you very much. And Ochenya Derok over time, watching you guys from Suleja. Good to know. So on Facebook, we're getting a diverse audience of people who are following our conversation.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, the big one.
Gabriel Spector.
Gabriel Spector, right?
Yes. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, Kim. Good afternoon, all the listeners across the globe.
Welcome.
My name is Gwaza Max. Yeah. I am concerned with the position of the governor for the clerics to submit their sermon before they are preached. I think if it's a national policy, trying to tame religion, I think they will form a committee, to look into that and look at the excesses of religious extremism, so that, the government now controls them. But as a single governor coming out among the 36 governors, is it 35 or 36?
36 and FCT.
Current with my current affairs. All right. So, one governor coming out to censor religious preachings. To me, I look at it as, that's not going to work. Because it might be political. They've already known the pledges that are anti-government in quotes. Because once they notice that this preacher always criticizes the government, they may be right. So those people, they become a target. That sermons will not be screened through. They will always feel that this thing fit up. So I think it's political, and it should not be allowed to see the light of the day.
All right.
Borrowing. I keep saying that our borrowing is scary. Our borrowing is scary. Really. 149 trillion naira. And I don't know if they borrowed last night. That's what I know last week. So the burden is being too much on us. You look at how we are being taxed, how our economy is dying. So it's really affecting us.
All right.
Honestly.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And no, there was no borrowing at night. It's not done surreptitiously that way.
Okurora, I greet you.
Welcome.
Mr. Gabriel.
Welcome.
Hello?
Welcome. Go ahead, sir.
Welcome, brother Salas. Yeah. All great. You're not to call from Niger State, Chief Servant Deputy for the masses. It is what the governor of Niger State is trying to do. At times, the masses prefer religion than dividends of democracy. You understand? This is the avenue of denying you one or two things, the dividend of democracy. And you don't have the mouth to ask. We need light, we need road, we need this. You keep on saying religion. You understand? They have silenced the dividend of democracy. You understand? We now use religion to cover our eyes. You understand? And for the boring, my sister, as long as, bitter leaf is a vegetable, dogoyaro is also vegetable. The only thing is we squeeze bitter leaf, it will not be bitter again. But dogoyaro, no matter how you squeeze it, dogoyaro remain dogoyaro. That's APC for you. They will continue boring.
All right.
To stop them. And then we use our PVC to stop them.
All right. But both of them are
What an
medicinal.
illustration.
I did the illustration. I
Hello?
thought, like, where are you going with this? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Adola Victor from this Alaji.
Okay.
I think today the governor of Niger State is becoming more controversial politically and religiously. I think once you know these people who are trying to push hate speech or who are trying to incite the public against your government, once you know that, you can call them to a meeting. You can call them in the meeting and tell them the truth so that they will change. But if you want all the religious leaders to submit sermons, so how much will you get? How much will you get? So to me, it's not the right thing to do. Then as for the...
Sir, we need to go for a quick commercial. We need to go for a quick commercial. Thank you. All right. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
I'm so happy.
This is Hard Facts. Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right. Thank you very much, Abuja. Let's take this call quickly. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go on, please. Welcome. What's your name?
Hello?
Hello?
Go ahead. What's your name?
Good afternoon, Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Oh, dear. I think definitely having a connection problem with that particular one. You can just try us. We've got just a few more minutes to wrap up this segment.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. What's your name?
My name is... I'm calling from where?
I didn't get your name. What's your name?
My name is Alex. I'm
All right, go on, Alex. Go on.
from where?
Go on, please.
On regulation of religion.
Alex, your network, your connection is... Oh, dear. The connection is poor.
Yeah.
ESV Chimaidika Gateway Plaza in CBD said, Mr. Gabriel, please recall what I told you yesterday about the FCT Abuja chapter of resident doctors' position on the strike when you read that resident doctors had called off their strike. And I called your attention to the fact that Abuja chapter were not on the same page as their own employer in the FCT and not federal government. Hence, their own strike was still ongoing. I guess my assertion was right after all, and I trust the FCT minister would give it the urgency required. Thanks and have a nice deliberation. Thank you very much. Do we have time to hear this voice message? Let's try.
Good afternoon, the Oracle. Good afternoon, Gabriel Spector. My name is Harry doing this VN from Abuja. I want to talk about the governor trying to vet or assess setting up a committee to assess the Simon of clerics or clergymen, imams and the clergymen before mounting the pulpit. It sounds so childish and or childlike. How? Because if somebody wants to attack the government as a clergy person, I don't think it will be in your sermon what you wrote down. It cannot be there. So sometimes it is after they are preaching, that they digress to that area to probably address what is happening in the land. So if that kind of policy is being implemented, it means freedom of speech has been taken. If a clergy speak against the government that is contrary to what the government want to hear, they have a way to either call the clergy and interrogate him. Why did you, this your preaching or this your sermon is going to trigger violence or instigate crisis in the nation? Disease from it. Not that they will submit their message to you before they will preach. For churches that have program every day, they will be submitting message every day. Does it make sense?
All right, thank you very much. Well, our time is up for this segment. It's time to join Dorcas for the news at the top of the hour, and our guests for the 4 o'clock are already seated. Stay with us.
And now, news from the nation's capital.
This is Nigeria Info.